Hey everybody, welcome to What Drives Us, episode 285 for July 25th, 2018. Wow.
285.
I know. We've been doing this a while.
Damn, you think we'd be good by now?
The joke's on you. We still suck. But you know, the advantage of sucking is it's not hard to just perform nominally.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, if we were excellent once, then there'd be a bar that we would always be below.
That's true. That's true.
Is anybody buying that crap?
Keep
expectations
low. Done.
Under promise, over deliver.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can do another 300 of these at that expectation.
Exactly. I could do another 300 shows tonight that are as good as. No, that's... Well, you know, here we are maligning our own show that we've spent 9 years doing. So, yeah, maybe I have some esteem issues. Pardon me. Thank you for watching. Let's introduce the panel of experts and get this show on the road. First up, well, he was in my neighborhood and I didn't even go see him and I still feel bad. So public apologies. Our man in the Pacific Northwest who just got back from San Diego, Mr. Patrick Connor.
Yep, I drove 1,200 miles down there, and Russell's like, "Nah, I'm busy."
You didn't see? No. You went to Comic-Con. Don't pull that.
I did not
bad.
drive down there to see Russell.
It was like he was sitting in a Motel 6 in San Diego for 3 days waiting for me to come. You know, God, no.
Sounds like dates I've had.
And I was very busy. So, yeah, I was also very busy. So I've only been doing this show for 7 years now. And I've still not met Russell face to face.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
You know, I've known Tony for almost 15 and I've never seen him.
No,
like, I don't know. It could be somebody in a Tony costume for all I know.
Not the real me.
Not the real you. Yeah. Actually, I've seen far too much of the real you, come to think of it.
That is true.
Yeah. Those weren't good nights.
Those stories. Yeah.
The next gentleman, the smiling guy, the nice guy, Mr. Model 3 in Canada, Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. And I can attest there are several Tony clones running around the country.
Clones or robots? I still don't know if we've gotten to the bottom of that.
Not sure, Patrick, but they certainly look the same.
Maybe some of each. You know, I mean,
diabolical.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a clone and a robot. You know, I don't know what whatever. And I'm sorry.
Show title.
Show
Clone or robot.
Writing it down, clone or robot. And finally, the guy we've been talking about, my wingman on this show, Mr. Tony Schaefer.
Yeah, hey everybody. So yeah, tonight I went back to the well for some Grey Goose and some fruit juice, and it's that kind of night.
Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. And of course, early shout outs to Derek Lee, Bruce in the chat room. Bruce, of course, in New Zealand, which is always fun.
What time is it in New Zealand, Tony?
No, I think it's Thursday. I think what is New Zealand +5?
No, that's England.
No, that's England. So it's just minus
+5 if you're in the East Coast.
It's like Thursday morning, I think.
Okay, Bruce in the chat room, let us know what time it is in New Zealand right now.
Just post the time, please, and the date, so that we know, because I think, there's a Dateline thing. Well, we have quite a show for you this evening. We've spent hundreds of man hours producing this carefully scripted.
Sorry.
You know, you guys undermine me like that. It's just, what can I say? Couple of things off the right at the beginning. I want to thank. We talked for years about this vehicle, and why the stupid company that made it wouldn't bring it to the United States, and then they brought it to the United States late last year, and then we begged and pleaded, and please, can we? I just turned in the Mitsubishi Highlander plug-in hybrid today.
All right.
Yeah, I want to tell you. Why this car isn't one of the biggest selling vehicles in the United States is beyond me.
It's because they have exactly one, and you had it last week.
Right. And so, I mean, and again, like huge thanks to Mitsubishi for providing the vehicle. But yeah, I'm gonna go with it's their crappy dealer network
and availability.
I don't know. I'm just telling you, for $42,000, this is an amazing car. It is a fantastic full-size SUV, tons of features, great technology. It drives like a dream, 20 miles of a pure electric range, great hybrid mileage. What else do you need? You need like 10K in the glove box? I mean,
yeah, I really wanted one. 2013, 2014, 2015. They still weren't here. They still weren't here. I gave up finally.
Exactly, Patrick. Exactly. How many times have we heard people say they should bring these to the United States? Why haven't they brought these to the United States? Yeah.
Well, it's here now. And again, I don't know if it's production constrained or if there's dealer issues or whatever. Patrick, I think you would have really liked it. It's actually a pretty cool car. So review coming to youtube.com/whatdrives us very, very soon. Look for that. And then what I got yesterday, I actually had 2 cars for one day. I felt like a king. I got a car I haven't driven since 2011 when I drove the first generation Nissan Leaf, and I really liked it. I thought it was cute, thought it was fun, had a nice little afternoon drive in it. And of course, my co-host at the time, Danny Cooper, no, he didn't like it. It wasn't fun enough for him. He liked the Volvo.
He's off the show.
He's, you know where he is. Well, I mean,
we have no idea where he is.
Yeah, it's still his show. He can come back anytime, but you know. So yeah, I got a brand new Leaf, the new second generation Leaf. And one day I've driven it, I don't know, maybe 30 miles. Wow. It's a really cool car. Now, I'll get this out of the way right now. It's beyond me why Nissan didn't put active thermal management in the battery pack. I don't know, but everything else about the car so far, the e-pedal is really cool. Pro Pilot Assist, pretty darn nice. It's a comfortable car. It's quiet. It's fun to drive still. Nice and roomy inside, lots of storage. I'm really looking forward to the next 5 days that I have left with the Nissan Leaf.
Cool.
Yeah. And, it's funny. Car chargers, at least where I live in Escondido, North San Diego County, car chargers are like a little mini social scene. You guys, I mean, does that happen at Tesla? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's somebody charging and you're charging and they get out of their car and you talk and it's like,
most of them are friendly, aren't they?
Most of them are very friendly, very helpful, always willing to like, hey, I'll be out of here in a minute. I'll, whatever, that kind of thing. I mean, I have not run into I take that back. I ran into a complete jerk at a charger once, but they weren't sitting there. They drove 2 cars, parked their car in the free charging spot, and then drove away in their gas car.
Oh,
yes.
At least it was charging though, right?
Gee, thanks. Yeah.
But I mean, that would have been an even bigger jerk move if they just blocked the spot. Not even plugged in.
No. It was plugged in at the time. So
I've had that comment many times, and I've experienced it myself from other EV drivers as well, that people at charging spots are usually quite friendly and helpful.
And I bring this up specifically because we've talked many times on this show about how charging spots, electric car charging, could be the social business opportunity of the future. And yet no one has really capitalized on some chargers and some food and some drinks and a place to sit, maybe some shade. My God, it's 104 here today.
Yeah.
I was like,
nothing like being standing on a blacktop talking to somebody, melting
in a parking lot. Yeah, next to a charger, which, by the way, gives off nothing but cool energy. Okay, there's 3 of us huddled under one little tiny tree in this parking lot, just hoping for like the 102 degree shade as opposed to 104 degree sweltering on the asphalt. But
yeah, so if an ice cream truck had pulled up right then, they would have sold out.
My God, I would have married him. I just
Here's $10,000. Let me crawl in back.
Right. just open your doors. Just open the fridge. I don't want anything. I just want the cool air. But this is still kind of like, why hasn't anybody capitalized on this yet? Mm-hmm. It's probably density. It's, someplace like San Francisco, that probably makes a lot more sense than it does almost anywhere else. Even as dense as the EV population is here in California, it's probably not that dense yet, but you want to get ahead of the curve or not?
Yeah, an article that I'm going to touch on a little later does just sort of talk about gas stations adding chargers. And that's the perfect place. Bring people in, they charge, and then you have somewhere for them to sit inside, and they're going to binge buy things. So, yeah, as opposed to gas stations where people pull in, they buy their gas, and they leave. Now you'd have somebody paying for the electricity to charge the car, and they're going to come inside where they're likely going to buy a big gulp, Russell, like that, maybe a bag of chips, and who knows, and a police box.
And a TARDIS,
yes.
And a TARDIS,
because everybody needs a TARDIS.
No, I think tradition is that you steal the TARDIS.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, I've got a picture to show you. This was from the road trip.
Oh, geez.
Let me see if I can.
Which, by the way, is it Ultimate Nerd Road Trip 2018?
Yes, on Facebook.
On
Ultimate
Facebook.
Nerd Road Trip 2018.
Do go. Patrick posted a lot of great pictures of just the cosplay and the trip and chargers and.
So, is this screen sharing?
Oh
wait, not yet.
Are you button mark your
rocket?
No, this is not the rocket.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
There I am charging up with the gas station in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we're at a Shell, and there's a Chevron right there next to it. And we went in, we bought some soda and chips, and used the bathroom while we were hanging out there in the heat, charging up.
And to steal your tagline, Patrick, how much does sunshine cost?
Yes, it does not cost $3.89 a gallon. It's free. At least I don't know that this was technically sunshine that we were charging up on here, but yeah, that's even if you have a Model 3 and you have to pay for electricity, it's a whole lot cheaper per mile, a third of the price of gas per mile. So that's pretty awesome. And since I have a 2016 Tesla, it's free for me. So that was nice. We drove 2250 over 2,000 miles, and I didn't have to pay for any of the fuel to do that road trip. So that was pretty cool.
And those of you who've watched the Zachary Gets a Model 3 video,
speaking of which,
probably understand that he mentioned in there that he did all the math. And even though he doesn't get free supercharging, he still plans on charging and paying for it. But electricity costs so much less than gasoline that he'll still come out ahead in the long run.
Right. I think he said he lives in an apartment. And so he can't charge at home. So he has to use either the urban chargers or superchargers. And if you are charging frequently, you should use the urban chargers. They don't charge as fast, which means they don't heat up your batteries much, which means they don't cause as much degradation. So if you can, use an urban charger.
Yeah, and some of the places that he had mentioned here in Evanston, Illinois, have free chargers. So like he said, he goes to the gym for a couple hours and he picks up like 50 miles of range. He goes to the movie, picks up 50 miles of range.
Level 2 is even better if you're going to be doing it on a regular basis. And if you can do it while you're doing something fun or going to the gym, which I wouldn't call fun, but something we should all be doing more of. If you're there anyway and you get some free juice out of it, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
And just as a comparison here in Ontario, charging the car at off-peak hours overnight, 500 kilometers of range costs $8 in electricity. So it's basically $1.60 per 100 kilometers, or 60 miles in you guys' case, I guess.
I'm just gonna say, could you be more metric? How many liters per gallon? I mean,
so that's 300 miles is $8.
Is $8. Okay. Right. Yeah. And what motor vehicle can you get 300 miles out of $8? Well, maybe a Prius, maybe, but no, that'd be only if Tony's driving.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
not if I'm driving. I'm in power mode, and I'm
But then again, if Tony's driving an electric car, he's going to get more range out of that as well.
There's that.
Yeah,
there's that.
Hopefully.
Well, let's go to our first news item. Interestingly enough, I had heard just a couple of days ago, I saw a thing that said Sergio Marchionne had retired. They had already put in Mike Manley, a interim CEO, to replace him. And today, the news was that he's passed away. Which is like, wow, that's 2 days from retirement to passing away. It's horrible. And of course, our condolences to his family and his loved ones, and all the people at Fiat Chrysler. It's tragic to die that young. I think he was 66.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah. So, I don't have any bone to pick. I mean, I think sometimes Marchionne's leadership at FCA was a little more retro than it needed to be. I'm hoping Mike Manley comes in and turns things over a little bit. That would be nice. But of course, it's tragic when something like this happens. And he was a big player in the business,
He was, yeah. He was no friend to electric vehicles, but I still didn't wish his death upon him. I was just hoping he would have a nice retirement and eat crow for the rest of his life, sitting on his fat CEO paychecks. I mean, laughing to the bank. But we had predicted earlier this year that FCA is going to change their mind at some point, realize the electric's the way to go. They're going to announce a bunch of electric vehicles, and he's going to announce his retirement. And that was, earlier this year. And then they announced his retirement. They announced their new electric car lines, but then this, like, whoa, that was not something we could have foreseen.
Yeah, of course we don't wish, there might be other executives that we would wish. No, it's not
well, we said we wouldn't talk about that on the air.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was pre-show conversation.
I mean, there's no mention of cause, and maybe that'll come out later, but he in the picture, and he's never seemed unhealthy.
Yeah.
And he was, like I said, he was only 66.
They did mention he was sick a few days before he did retire. He was sick. It was noted. They didn't say what sickness it was. It's just that he was in ill health, but no one expected this.
Yeah.
It's sad, of course.
Yes.
Again, our condolences to his family and his FCA family. And we wish, of course, Mike Manley the very best at FCA. Let's go. Let's see you guys electrify and make some really cool vehicles, please.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So Matt in the chat room said he had cancer. The operation made his heart malfunction.
Oh, really?
Yeah. News to me, and I'm guessing all of us. Had a stroke. And
thank you, Matt.
Fell into a coma, I think.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. So very unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. As I was flipping through here, I just saw the phrase known as a chain smoking workaholic.
Yeah.
Okay. There's the start. You might want to look into that.
Yeah. Well, not a good plan if you
cautionary tale for the listeners.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Put those cigarettes away, kids, and stay in school.
Right.
That's all I got. Next up. Green Car Reports announced something that I thought was weird. I mean, it's great, but it's the Hyundai announced that the 2018 Sonata plug-in hybrid, they're dropping the price. They're lowering the price, $1,350. We're talking about the difference. The base model is going to start at $33,350, and of course, destination taxes, license, dealer prep, blah 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 blah. The limited, of course, will start at $39,735. But they've also added some other features, just like another company we did another show on recently.
Yeah.
They upped the price but added features, and I don't know if that's a bad thing, but anyway,
Right.
Okay, a plug-in hybrid comes down in price. I support that completely.
Hey, when I drove the Sonata hybrid, I was absolutely impressed with it.
Now, did you have the plug-in or the hybrid?
I had the hybrid.
Okay.
So yeah, we've talked about the hybrid tax on here before, and so it's cool to see that here's some signs that that's going away.
Yeah.
And of course, there are some incentives depending on your location.
Federal tax credit. The plug-in qualifies for a $4,919 federal tax credit.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, that's $5,000. I mean, so hey, cheers to Hyundai for adjusting that. Cheers to all of us who maybe have this as a viable option and can buy it a little bit cheaper than they could have a month ago.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Tony, speaking of your news story. Wait. Oh my God. Wait. Hold on. Stop the presses.
Do we have presses?
Paul. Everyone welcome Boulder Hybrids. Paul Guzek.
Hey guys, sorry I was late to the party, but I'll try and give you my 2 cents or just watch. But
yay! Hey, can we circle back on something? Ooh, I said circle back. I'm sorry. Oh, what's wrong with me?
Why is that bad?
It's like corporate
marketing speak.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, I had already talked about driving the Outlander. And I forwarded that email from Mitsubishi. I'm just curious. Did you have a chance to read that?
Yeah. So it's weird because the customer has an almost new car, 3,700 miles, and the oil maintenance required light came on.
Right.
And according to them, that's the interval for severe duty usage, which I don't think anybody driving an Outlander is doing severe duty, but I don't know. Even that just seems very low for a modern car to change the oil when it's new.
Now, isn't the second oil change though farther out? I mean, this is just an initial change, or did I misread that?
Well, maybe the page I looked in the manual was the severe duty page, and it said every 3,750 miles you're supposed to change the oil on a gas engine that may hardly ever run, which didn't seem odd, or seemed really odd to me. Where like a Chevy Volt plug-in hybrid, they have some fuzzy logic that computes how much the engine has run, how many miles you've driven, and it will say you've got 90% oil life left, 80% oil life left, and it could take 3 years before you have to change the oil.
Interesting.
Yeah, that makes sense. They should be looking at engine miles, not total miles.
Correct.
Right.
So absolutely. I think they just copied and pasted from their regular Outlander manual or something. I don't know.
And that was something that I actually was researching recently, because I'm coming up on 1 year with my Prime, and I'm thinking, okay, well, it's a year. I need to go change the oil, and then the realization that I've only really been on 2 long trips with it, and I've only
probably driven under 1,000 miles on the gas engine.
Yeah, one trip. I drove to Iowa and back, and then the other one I drove to Indiana and back, and yeah, maybe 1,000. 1,200 tops. So it became a question of, do I really need to change the oil? So I went to priuschat.com where other people with the Prime, and they were talking, and one of the things that someone brought up was, even if the oil is just sitting there not being used, it might be breaking down. So it still might not be as effective as it was.
A little bit, but modern oil is pretty darn good.
Yeah, and this is a full synthetic 020. I think.
I mean, I would say someone like you who drives primarily an electric, if you wanted to change it once a year just to know that it's fresh, you could, but you could probably go 2 years on the original oil.
Yeah,
so should the be sooner than a normal cycle? I mean, you've got new parts in there, things are still getting broken in. Does that make sense?
I mean, it doesn't hurt to change it a little early the first time, just keep it fresh. But modern engines, they have modern oil, they're tight tolerances. It's not like the old days where things would just fall apart when you drove them off the lot.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, they do fall apart at about 100,000 miles, but that's another discussion.
Yeah.
I was going to text Mark, and I was going to ask him, in that first year when he drove his Volt, without burning any gas? How many times did he change the oil?
0 times.
But
In fact,
Mark,
the
correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't it say something like X% oil life left?
Yeah, it's a percentage that is always showing, or you can flick to it, and when it gets down to within, I believe, 20%, it then comes up on the screen and notifies you.
But it's not based on miles traveled.
No, it's based on engine. It's based on engine running, so it tracks that. It's not total miles, and in my case, it's a maximum of 2 years. They want you to change it after 2 years, regardless. So
yeah, and that's probably not a bad strategy. Just keep it fresh after.
And to be honest, I couldn't find anywhere, and here you think I would be able to find these things. I couldn't find anywhere in the Prime on how to go to, like vehicle maintenance settings, oil life reading, whatever. I'm not even sure that that's available. I couldn't find it.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, they should be there, just like the Volt has it. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I think the Prime, the light comes on like every other Prius at 5,000 miles.
Yeah,
it has no knowledge of the oil in the engine. It's got 5,000 miles, maintenance required.
But I haven't burned any gas.
So Paul, I mean, so Mitsubishi and you both said, right, this is only indicated for Schedule 1, which is quote unquote severe usage. So the real question then that I need to follow up with Mitsubishi on is, what determines severe usage?
Well, they usually would define that as like a taxi cab, or extreme hot climate, extreme cold climate, extremely dusty climate. So if you're a cab driver in Dubai, that's severe usage.
If you're a cab driver in Dubai, welcome to the show.
Yeah. Or an Uber driver.
But this is a local Boulder vehicle owner,
right? So they were just concerned because the light came on that said service your oil,
right?
At 3,700 miles.
I mean. Okay.
And they said that they've had the car. Most of their trips are electric, like
right.
Most people that have a plug-in hybrid.
Sure. So they're driving short trips on electric. So chances are the motor they're not like hill climbing or something.
No, they're not. They're not in the mountains. They're in the Front Range. Relatively mild terrain, and they probably driven 500 miles on the gas engine, and the rest has been electric.
Wow.
So again,
GM
give GM a point for figuring that one out before anyone else did.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would love to. I'm going to follow back with Mitsubishi just to see if they can give me what the indicators are for severe usage that the car might be identifying.
Or if there's any difference in first and second changes.
I think that's the default. I don't know. I sent you guys a screenshot of the manual. Did it say severe usage on that manual?
Well, I'm looking at the email from Mitsubishi, and it says the maintenance manual. I'll quote: the maintenance manual indicates oil and filter changes at 3750/3 months for Schedule 1, which is for severe usage, while Schedule 2 indicates oil and filter changes at 7,500 miles 6 months for normal usage. So the question is, why is this car coming under the severe usage heading?
The only reason, though, is that the light came on. They don't know, right? That's all they know.
Right,
the light came on.
Right. I know that's all they know. But
I think the light comes on all of them at that amount. I don't think that my customer did anything different.
Okay.
I think if your car was brand new, Russell, and you drove it to 3,750 miles, the light would come on.
Damn. Well, I mean, yeah, because it's me, dude. Most of the times on 2 wheels.
You're the definition of severe usage.
Yeah, I got to write that down. That might be a T-shirt.
At least the show title, maybe.
I'm severe usage.
I like Hello Dubai too. I thought that was nice, Patrick. I wrote that down too. Okay, well let's.
Wait, one last one here.
I know
jokes are usually Tony's part shtick in this in our setup here, but I know how you can solve this oil problem. Buy pure electric.
There you go.
There's that. Yeah.
Then you don't have to worry about any of these problems. I'm just over here laughing.
And for Mark and people in metric parts of the world, it's 6,000 kilometers is when they want to change the oil on the Mitsubishi.
Well, that's really light.
Yeah.
What you missed, Paul, was that I really loved the Outlander PHEV.
It's a cool car, you know. I got up under it, and you know, they kind of copied the Highlander in many ways. Like, it's got the electric drive rear end,
right?
No mechanical link to the rear drive. Engine bay is gorgeous as far as a mechanic's point of view. To, like, if you ever have to service the car, there's plenty of room around it. I mean, it's a well engineered car. So I only drove it around the block, but I give it thumbs up.
Yeah, I was really impressed.
And my customers love it. You know, they're like, this ticks all the boxes in Colorado. I mean, it's got some clearance for going to the mountains. It's got all-wheel drive. It's got SUV size. It's plug-in hybrid for commuting to work.
It's not crazy expensive.
It's not crazy expensive.
Yeah, it qualifies for HOV lane here.
Yeah, it's 7,500 federal and 5,000 Colorado rebate. So
wow.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you're talking about a 42,000 full-size SUV down to 30,000.
Right. That you rarely need to put gas in.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a pleasure to drive too. Well,
now the funny thing is why they brought it to me for an oil change is because there's only like 2 Mitsubishi dealers within 500 miles of here, and I'm a lot closer than the actual dealer. And I think if they go to the dealer, they get the oil change for free the first few ones. But they said, you know, we don't want to drive all the way down there. We'll just bring it to you. So that's a negative with Mitsubishi in general. So they have a very piss poor dealer network right now.
In so many different ways.
Yeah.
Ow! I'm sorry, Mitsubishi, the manufacturing company. Yeah, your dealers suck.
Well, and of course, they told me when they went to buy it, the salesperson knew absolutely nothing about the car. And, you know, they said the funniest thing was they said, would you like some coffee? And they gave him coffee in those really environmentally nasty styrofoam cups. Like, they didn't have recyclable cups.
Right.
And they actually said to the salesperson, you know, if you're selling this car, the people who buy it probably would rather have recyclable cups when you're giving them coffee. You know, make a note of that.
It's 2018. Who uses styrofoam cups?
Yeah, it's like leftover from the 60s or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Herb Tarlick, you know.
And given that it was a Mitsubishi dealer, they might very well be leftover from the 60s. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of people there.
You know, but the car is customers. It's a nice car. You know, they did a nice job on the car.
I totally agree. I totally agree. The car's delightful.
They need to do some training with their dealers, maybe.
The
16 dealers they have in the country or whatever it is.
The 16 bad dealers.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh dude. No, I've talked about this in the show before. If there's like a crappy, cheesy, deceptive marketing ploy that comes in my mailbox, it's from a Mitsubishi dealer. Hey, this car key is going to start the car. Here, scratch this lottery thing off for a $10,000 discount. All these just horrible, just low-end marketing strategies that scream to me, we don't have good cars.
Right.
I'm a down on my luck Saudi prince, and if you come to the local Mitsubishi dealer,
exactly.
No, the Nigerian prince will send you gold nuggets.
Oh my God. Okay, Tony, all yours.
So the Wall Street Journal had an article about Saudi Aramco. I always feel like I'm saying that wrong.
Aramco?
Aramco. It just does not seem like a real word or name.
Well,
Saudi
it's a made
Aramco.
up thing.
Yeah, it's a made up thing. So Saudi Aramco, that's nice. 1960 called and wants its styrofoam back. Show title right there.
Patrick's got like 6 show titles up so far. I'm tired of writing them down. I mean, they're all funny.
Okay. Oh, and you know what?
Coffee is for closers. That's the show title.
So here's what pisses me off about the Wall Street Journal is I cannot access this entire article because it's behind a paywall. Yeah. And when
How dare journalists want you to pay for their service?
I know. On my tablet, I could pull up the whole thing, but I can't hear.
You should tweet that guy and make him close his account.
Yeah. Tell him what a bastard they are, whoever it is.
I'm so sad. So anyway, what it came down to was Saudi Aramco working to, they were working to create more fuel efficient engines. And so it became a question of why is there a Saudi company working to create more fuel efficient vehicles? You would think that they would want more vehicles consuming more of their product. But the problem is that they are seeing electric vehicles gain more market share. And they realize that if they don't make more fuel efficient cars, or if they don't push the effort for more fuel efficient cars, then people are going to start realize what we've been talking about, which is electricity costs a lot less than gasoline. And so people are going to start making that shift to electric vehicles, and they're doing everything they can to try to slow that shift, to keep people in more fuel efficient gasoline cars instead of moving to more fuel efficient electric vehicles.
Yep, this is just another sign of the internal combustion engine jumping the shark.
Exactly.
Yeah, when steam engines came out, steamships, the guys that sailed ships started putting up more sails to try to compete, and it's just it reeks of desperation.
Yeah, and there was one talk of if you know, it's in the article that when electric vehicle adoption gets to a certain point, then there will be a lot less oil converted to gasoline, and so they'll have a glut of oil, and then the price of oil will drop. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, there's already an overabundance of diamonds, and De Beers just holds it up and convinces people it's in short supply. So why don't they just do that?
They have a strategic reserve.
Yeah,
artificially constrained supply. That's never happened with the gasoline before.
No. Well, I mean, look at the low gas prices we've had for the last few years, artificially market flooded because the OPEC nations wanted to increase their market share, wanted to undercut. If you're selling oil cheaper than people can dig it out and get it themselves, then they're going to come to you and buy it. And that's exactly what they've done in the last few years.
And then, you know, and strategically trying to keep people from buying electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles or plug-in vehicles, whichever, by saying, look, it's really not that expensive to fuel your internal combustion engine. Just keep buying those.
Yeah, they can't raise the price to try to make more profit, or that will just make more people go to electric. So.
Yeah, and purchasing a car is a one-time decision that affects somebody for 10 years and sometimes longer. So if you can get them to buy that one internal combustion engine, you have them on the hook for the next 5 to 7 years.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of people, once they have an EV, say, I'm never going to buy another gas car again. This is just such a better ride. It's quieter, smoother, accelerates better, cheaper to fuel, less maintenance, and just they see no reason to go back.
And if you like the benefits of an EV today, when you replace that 5 or 6 years down the road, there's going to be even better. So.
Right. Yeah. Technology will get better. The grid will get greener. Whatever reason you're buying it, it's probably going to be better next time, if not get better as you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, where gas cars have small gains in propulsion technology, but they're really nothing super significant is happening. I mean, they're still more or less the same efficiency they've been for the last 15 years, and they still need a lot of maintenance. And yeah, they've gotten to the end of what they can do with an internal combustion engine, pretty much.
Right. Yeah, we've had over 100 years on this technology, and the Model T got 25 miles per gallon, and today's fuel average is not a lot better.
Right. Yeah. So the reason I wanted to bring this up and talk about this Wall Street Journal article is exactly like Patrick said. You know, when you have companies doing things like this, I like that. You said they've jumped the shark.
Yeah.
And the writing's on the wall, and the suppliers are seeing it.
Yep.
So let's talk about the EU for a second. Talking about jumping the shark. There's an interesting article in Green Car Reports. And the headline is, and I quote, "Electric car sales growth flattens in Europe with dearth of public chargers." So that's an interesting conclusion. Is it all about chargers? Bloomberg published a report that said EV sales were down 33% for the first 6 months of 2018 versus 54% for 6 months of the last year. And And a consulting firm has come in and said, well, it's all about not enough public charging stations, especially in Britain.
I mean, part of that is in Europe, a lot of the homes are like 200 years old and they don't even have garages, you know?
Yeah.
So you have to park at a public facility or on the street. And it's not like in America, everybody has a house in the suburbs with a private garage and a driveway. You know?
Well, has anyone considered just like raising the entire country and just rebuilding, just starting over?
Yeah.
We tried that in 1940, I think. Yeah,
that's right.
It didn't work out very well in the end.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people are who want an EV are waiting for the Model 3 to come to their country.
Oh, how very Tesla-centric of you, Mr. Connor.
I'm not. I'm just wondering.
No, dude, that is a totally fair thing to wonder, right? What's the? You know what? I need to look at a map. Has anybody looked at a map of the supercharger network in the EU?
Yeah.
I was in Ireland in February, and I had been there 3 years before, and they didn't have any. And now we passed several. I had to drive from Shannon to Dublin, and we passed. I think we passed 3 of them. I was not in a Tesla, unfortunately, at the time, but just a rental car. But they definitely are building their network out.
I thought for sure you were going to say they have twice as many.
Wow.
They had 0. Now they've got a dozen. That's twice as many. That's good math, Tony. I'm not sure why you thought for sure I was going to say that. This is more about what you think about me than
the well-known Tesla hater. Here's the map.
Yeah.
There's England, and there's some that haven't been built yet. Not a lot, only 3 in Ireland, but certainly not.
Only one highway in Ireland.
You look at the EU, and wow, that's actually not bad.
Yeah,
and a lot of gray dots coming soon.
Right, right. But still, even then, the red stuff is like, I mean, because we're not talking about 10,000 miles across this continent here. You know, I mean, it's
go up to Norway.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All the way up here, right?
All the way up. All right.
Let's see. Oh no! Oh wow! They go all the way up.
Wow!
Damn!
That would be a fun road trip.
Tesla to the North Pole,
north of the Arctic Circle.
Wow!
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, drive a Tesla all the way up.
I take back my road trip was not quite that epic.
All right, you now have 2019 goals.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not so. Of course, this is Tesla. Now, if I went to PlugShare or something, I don't know if they have EU maps or not. But I guess what I questioned, what caught my attention about this article was that they seem so sure it was a lack of public charging, and I wonder if there are other factors.
The Saudis wrote the article.
Yeah, well, that could be right. And Tesla shorters.
If you ask people, I'm not saying look at the data. I'm saying if you ask people, people who don't drive EVs generally aren't aware that the charging network is out there, and they think, oh, well, I wouldn't buy one because there's no charging network. And then if you pull up something like PlugShare and show them all the stations that are around them, they're usually surprised by it. What is the name of that effect? If once you become aware of something, you see it a lot more. There's a.
Like if you buy a silver Prius, you see all the silver Priuses.
I've always called it the Audi effect for that same reason. Yeah, once you own an Audi, you see every Audi on the road. Before then, you're like, "What's Audi?" But yeah, that's a great. I mean, that's you're in tune to it all of a sudden. You know?
Yeah. Absolutely. So if you ask people who don't drive EVs, they're probably going to say, because I'm not going to buy one because there's no charging network. And it's really their ignorance more than the actual fact of what charging is available to them.
Meanwhile, they have a 3-car garage with the 240-volt power right there in their own home.
Right, exactly. And that's right. It's that whole, they don't realize the gas station is in your house now.
Yeah,
right.
95% of your charging is done at home, if not more. And if you happen to be out and can opportunity charge, you can do that. But as EVs get longer and longer ranges, that argument disappears. That while you're out, you don't need anything. But certainly are situations today with first generation EVs that they do need a charge. But now when you've got a Tesla or a Bolt that gets 500 or 400 kilometers of range, that really is not a major concern. And typically houses have more than one car anyways, and one of them's a gasoline car possibly. So that, again, you're using the EV for all within range and save yourself a ton of money. And if you have to travel across the country, you can take the gas car.
Well, the other cool thing when I show people on PlugShare, all the private people that are opening their home charging stations to the EV community, and I say, if you're going to go visit someone in this town, and around the corner from where you're going, there's a private guy with an EV charger, he'll probably let you charge your car while you're visiting your neighbor, your friend a block away or whatever.
Yeah.
And people are like, no one would do that. And yet you go on PlugShare and there's all these blue houses.
There's thousands of blue blips everywhere in every town.
Yeah. And why is there a charger on the Faroe Islands?
I have done that once. I charged at somebody's house. We were going to see the premiere of Revenge of the Electric Car, and we were going to meet at a nearby Fred Meyer that had a Chatamo station, a bunch of us EV drivers, and then parade our cars past the opening of the movie. Nice. And since I knew all these cars were going to be there, and it was on the other side of town for me, and I did need a charge, instead of going to compete with all of them, I just went to a nearby house, and I called the guy. You have his contact information in there, and he said, "Sure, no problem. I'll move the car out of the garage. It's the driveway's right there. The charger's on the side of the house. Go ahead, pull in, plug in."
Yeah.
And I did. I plugged in. I texted him that I'm out there charging, and he came out and brought me a glass of water, and we chatted. He was a really cool guy. Yeah, it was neat.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, and while we were talking, I put up the PlugShare map for the EU, and yeah, there's a lot of chargers now. So I question the word dearth. And again, I think Patrick made the important point here that if you're not familiar with it, that's the scary, intimidating thing. Oh, where am I going to charge? And the truth is, it's not that hard.
The truth is, at home. That's where you're going to charge.
At home. And there's lots of options. Now, they're not always convenient sometimes, but as soon as you...
Well, and people got to step back and look at how they use their car. I mean, right. I guess some people, an EV would never work for me because it doesn't have the range. And I say, how many days in the last year have you driven more than 300 miles in one day? I'm like, well, twice. Right. It's like, because most people drive 40 miles a day or less.
Yeah. But that one day in 1993, I had to haul a whole bunch of
boats,
mulch, and I don't know that this car would handle that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's no perfect car for every situation, which is why you get one that meets the bulk of your needs, and then you rent, borrow, whatever.
Well, and now with Turo, you can rent a neighbor's regular car if you need to go on a road trip or Hertz or whatever. So
or you borrow. I borrowed people's trucks for a weekend, and I return it with a full tank and a 6-pack in the driver's seat.
Nice. You can borrow anything
craft beer or swill. PBR or
I usually ask them what they want. So
another show title.
Yes.
6-pack of swill.
Also, I wanted to Russell. I want to circle back. The show title that I suggested was the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon.
There it is. You got it.
Yes, which is, like Patrick said, once you become aware of our podcast, you start seeing it everywhere.
Nice. Okay, I got it written down.
You get bonus points if you spell Baader-Meinhof correctly.
Exactly. I was going to say you copied that out of Google.
Yep, damn straight. Okay. I can't even spell phenomenon correctly.
Hey, chat room. Here's our show titles. Okay, before we go to our last story.
Everyone vote.
Cloner Rabbit, Cloner Robot. Hello Dubai. Severe usage. I got up under it. Thank you, Patrick. 1960 called for their styrofoam coffee cup. 6-pack of swill and Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. Let us know what you think. And I think Mark has a story.
I do. Before I start my story, though, I do want to give a shout out to Bruce Johnson in the chat room, who did let us know that currently in New Zealand it is 1:52 p.m.
PM.
on Thursday.
On Thursday.
Yes, on Thursday.
Yes.
Yes.
So thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
My story is about the beloved Nissan ENV200 cargo van that we've talked several times about.
I love that.
And it's a great little city cargo van that they have decided in Spain to offer a camper mode.
Sweet.
So now your 40 kilowatt ENV200 van can be used with a pop-up top with a fridge and got the amenities on the inside.
RV park hookup.
Yep.
Instead of running your interior camping stuff, you're going to be charging your battery.
Well, you'd probably be doing both, right?
Yeah.
Probably get a charge for the to get back to home, and also to run all your electric appliances that are in the van. So again, this is only in Spain, nowhere else. I don't know why they picked Spain. I have no idea, but this is where they're starting with it. So if you have interest in this, write your local Nissan manufacturer and get them on.
But it's not the camper's not Nissan. It's a aftermarket upfitter, right?
Yeah, but you do configure it at Nissan, apparently.
Oh, really? Oh, the dealers are selling it?
That is so awesome.
Customers can go configure and order the electric camper with
like back in the VW
local Nissan dealership in Spain.
Yeah, it is at the Nissan dealership.
That's cool, because back in the day, like Volkswagen sold Westphalia campers at their dealers, but like Westphalia was a separate entity that converted them.
Okay.
I so want one of those. And I'll tell you why they're doing it in Spain. Do you want to know why they're doing it in Spain?
Why?
Look at the pop-up. Think that's going to work in Norway?
Well, that probably wouldn't work in Norway. Yes, but what's stopping the southern U.S.?
Nothing. Right. I'm just saying. Yeah. No. Geez. I mean,
that's like
I want that car
adorable.
So bad.
They're cute, and yeah, this would be great to go on a weekend or a full week, just drive around and
now all we need is Tesla to open their superchargers up to like every kind of EV, so you can do a cross country trip.
They already offered that, and nobody else took them up on it. So
Bruce says they're in New Zealand.
Oh,
really?
He says been one driving around New Zealand, and the company is now building more.
Sweet.
Wow.
Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, my only disappointment with the NV stuff is
the fridge is too small. You can't put enough beer.
No, man.
The six-pack of swill won't fit.
I do think 124 miles of range is a little low.
That does seem a little low.
It is. Yeah.
I think
in North America, it would be tough.
Yeah.
But if they could put that 60 kilowatt battery that's rumored to be coming to the Leaf platform, then that would push it up a little bit, more towards 200 miles, a little bit over.
Yeah, maybe solar that roof.
Yeah, and these share a lot of the drivetrain with the Leaf, except it has the advantage of it's actually liquid cooled.
It is liquid cooled,
right?
Correct.
Which everyone in hot America wants.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
well, Spain's
I want
pretty
that
hot
car
too.
so bad.
Yeah, because guess what? The Earth isn't getting any colder.
Global cooling. What isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
Well, does it give a price in the article?
It does not. No.
Okay.
No
You
price.
have to ask.
Just
1
curious.
million euros.
Yeah. That's what I was like. I want one. Oh, it costs $600,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they, like Matt said, if they do a 60 kilowatt hour,
you get 200 miles of range out of that car. That means you could easily do 400 miles a day in that car. That makes it a traveling car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It may not compete directly with gasoline, but 400 miles a day is very reasonable.
Well, especially if there's a charging network you can use along the way.
Right. Even, I mean, one, right? Like you
but even
a day and charge.
Think about it. If this is really used for a camping ability, you're typically going to a site that typically has some sort of electrical connection. You get there, you stay for a couple days, the vehicle charges up fully, and you got 200 kilometers or miles to get back home.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So I've been driving electric since 2007.
Oh, go ahead, brag.
Back then, Back then, if you wanted to get a charge, you had to know how to do guerrilla charging, and that
Did you have to drive uphill both ways?
You had to drive to RV parks.
Yeah, RV parks were a great one, and a lot of them are very friendly and will let you either rent a space just like they would anybody else, or even give it to you at a discount if you're not pulling in with a needful hookup and everything.
Nice. Yeah.
I can't remember his name. The guy that did the motorcycle tour on the Zero.
Oh, Iron Butt.
Ben.
Yes.
Yeah, that was Ben.
Oh, okay.
Swinging Ben.
Ben. Yes. I mean, he talked about, again, KOA, like his favorite place to stop in and charge real quick. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
And who it's 2018. Who in the last 20 years has thought about KOA? No, I mean, and I
whole second life for them.
Exactly, though. I mean, like, there is something, I think, to that, like to saying, hey, we're wired for this. We've had this infrastructure for 30 years.
Yep.
So that's cool.
If you own a KOA, put in some destination chargers of all different J1772s, some Tesla, you might get a little more business.
Yeah, you never know. At least people will know, you know what I mean? You'll pop up on maps.
Yep.
Yeah. Put yourself on PlugShare.
Right?
Absolutely.
Talk about how EV friendly you are.
Yeah.
When we last summer, when we traveled around the state, we stayed at hotels that had chargers, because we're going to be staying there for a couple days. We can get a full charge, and we can go around, drive to dinner or whatever, not have to worry about whether or not we have a place to plug in. So that was definitely an amenity that attracted me to several places.
Did you stay at the Best Western in Baker City?
We stayed at Prairie City. We stayed at one there. We stayed at one in Sutherland, and we stayed at one on the Oregon coast, whose name I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
And of course, for those of you who do that, make sure you tell the front desk people, I'm only staying at your hotel because you have EV charging.
Yes.
Super important. Yeah. That's a
back
really
in the
good
day,
point.
you'd say that to hotels that had internet when other ones didn't. And, they got the message that, hey, that's an important amenity for their guests.
Absolutely.
Right. We stayed
now everybody has internet. Even the crappiest roadside motel has internet. So one day, every crappy hotel will have EV charging.
Air conditioning, color TV.
Yeah, but it'll
HBO.
It'll be crappy electricity.
Yeah.
Low grade electrons.
Yeah.
Those electrons are the worst.
It'll be used.
Low octane electricity.
Yeah. It'll be like 14.4 baud.
Nice. Well, anybody have anything else for this week? Have we covered everything?
I think we have.
Good show.
I love that we've covered everything. I love that we're an hour in. Let's do some shout outs and go home with the smell of success. Whatever. Mark, I'm going to you first.
Okay. Thanks for everyone for watching. Please follow us on our social media connections. You can find us at What Drives Us. That is on Twitter. It is on Facebook. It is on What Drives Us Show on Instagram. And please, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button in the YouTube channel and get us another follower. We would really appreciate it.
We'll send you a free car. Well,
Paul will send you a free car. Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
For everyone who clicks subscribe, we're sending out cars. Just stand outside and wait.
Paul's sending out cars? Wait. How did I
where's our lawyer? He usually calls about now.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I had my phone on mute. Yeah, it's ringing off the hook.
Yeah. I'm ignoring that. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to add one thing to that. If you want to support the show another way with your actual cash, you can go to patreon.com/whatdrivesaShow, and you can donate there. You can donate as little as $1 a month. Okay. Right now, we are operating on a $4 a month budget. Woo!
That's almost $1 a piece.
$4 a month. But you know what? If a few of you go in there for $1 a month, all of a sudden we'll be at a $7 a month budget. Woohoo! So all I'm saying is toss us $1. Come on. 25 cents a show. That's not so bad.
Yeah. And again, we're not looking at paying ourselves. God, no.
What's that even like?
You just got to pay for those electrons.
Yeah.
Our buyer fees are more than that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, as Russell has said several times, we really want to funnel things back into the show. If we actually have money, then we could maybe fly to a car show, and then a couple of us could do a car show, or we could afford the hotel overnight. Stuff like that. So, we're not selfish. We're actually trying to make the show better.
And make tons of money for ourselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're still on.
Wait, I wrecked that. that sincere testimonial. Patrick Connor, help me. Save me.
Okay. So we don't always talk about Baader-Meinhof, but when we do, you hear about it over and over.
Now that you're aware of it.
Yeah, so I wrote about that in my blog. That's at carswithcords.net in 2014. How this was going to be a problem when EVs become more widespread. Mm-hmm. So I've been thinking about this for a while. And look, I was finally right. Eventually, you wait long enough, you get it. Nailed it! So as we mentioned earlier in the show, I did a fun little road trip. It didn't quite go to the Arctic Circle. Got to have goals for next year, I guess. And you can find that on Facebook. Just search for Epic Nerd Road Trip 2018. You can see all the cool pictures I took at Comic-Con.
Yeah, and they're great. Definitely do. It's Ultimate, isn't it? Or is it Epic?
Oh, Ultimate Nerd Road Trip. Yes, you're right. Thank you. I don't even know my own page.
That's okay. It's great. You get to see Patrick and his rocket.
Yes. The one that SpaceX security kicked me out of their parking lot before I got that shot. But I still got the picture I wanted.
Exactly. What kind of security do you have?
No, don't be a jerk. You should be cool when you go there.
Mr. Guzik.
I'll say what I say all the time. Boulder Hybrids, our website, boulderhc.com. We fix hybrids and EVs, and we sell hybrids and EVs. So if you're looking for a car in the Boulder, Denver metro area, give us a call. You got a broken car, give us a call.
Can you get me one of those NV2000 campers?
If they ever come stateside, definitely.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want one of those, but yeah, please. Finally, Tony Schaefer.
I, as usual, giving a shout out to everybody in the chat room. I think at one point we had 15 people watching the show, and like a lot of them in the chat room. Great conversation.
It's bedtime in New Zealand, though.
Did we get a title?
No, it's like 2 in the afternoon now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's afternoon.
And a special shout out to our newest subscriber. See, Matt Abadiah doesn't know that when people click subscribe, I get a pop-up on my desktop. So
it's a special shout out.
It just popped up. But yeah, I mean, I think this is awesome because, I mean, we're here in the States. Mark is in Canada. We know we have some Canadian people. We have Bruce in New Zealand.
Matt Uber driver in Dubai? Because that would round out.
Now that would truly be full circle right there. Yeah. So, and I do want to remind everyone, if you do use Flipboard like I do as a news aggregator, search for What Drives Us magazine. Because I put stuff in there. I put all of our articles in there. Philip Barclay contributes, and I know off and on every other people. So it is dedicated exclusively to the stuff that we talk about on the show, and then a lot of other stuff we don't have time for. So if you're interested in this stuff, look for our magazine.
No one's interested in this stuff, Tony.
Not really. I've already bored everyone to sleep.
Exactly. What did the chat room say? Do we have a title? Come on, chat room. I need some help here.
No. Although Matt did say, I don't want to see Patrick's rocket.
Well, that's two of us. I may go with Baader-Meinhof because I rather like that.
Yeah.
I may go with that. I'm sorry, Tony. Anything else?
Nope. Just thanks,
That's
everyone.
It? Okay, well then I'm going to say, as always, thanks to Michael Mannering for our theme music. Visit him at manthing.com and support him because he gives us our theme music for free. Thanks, Michael. Once again, patreon.com/whatdrivesusshow. Go there. Come on, it's $1 a month. What can you buy for $1 a month? Us making idiots out of ourselves for an hour in a week. Okay, that's all.
And you won't even get it in a styrofoam cup.
Yeah, no styrofoam cup, no coffee for closers. It's all going to be good. We're going to be polite. We're not going to swear at you. Well,
I think we're recyclable.
We're we're definitely recyclable, and we're a little sweary, but not super.
All for fun.
It's all in a good cause. As always, I want to thank our amazing panel, Mr. Mark Coughlin, Mr. Tony Schaefer, Mr. Patrick Connor, and Mr. Paul Guzik. Thank you so much for coming, for being here, for contributing. Thanks to everyone in the chat room. As always, I want to say hi to Catherine, and that's it. That's all I got. I need to cue up the theme music. Tune in next week and find out what drives us. See you next week. We've done 285 of these.
Wow.
You could not tell. This was the most chaotic ever. Thank you. Good night.